In lecture number 4, we are going to see some more method to solve a system of linear equations. Now, what are the methods we are going to see in this lecture? In this lecture, we are going to see the Cholesky's method. Now, what is this Cholesky's method? This is similar to LU decomposition method. There we split A into two parts, upper and lower triangular matrix. Here, we if the matrix is in some standard form, that is if the matrix is symmetric matrix, then that symmetric matrix we can write it as product of L into its transpose, that is L transpose. Now, what is a symmetric matrix? Symmetric matrix means all the elements above and below diagonal are same. Or if we take a transpose of a matrix. Now, what do you mean by transpose of a matrix? We transfer rows to column. The first row of A become first column of A transpose. Second row of A become second column of transpose of that matrix. Third row become third column. So that is how we take a transpose of a matrix. When A and its transpose are same, then that matrix we call as a symmetric matrix. Or roughly, if you want to check, then all the elements, corresponding elements above diagonal and below diagonal, the corresponding elements must be same. Then the matrix is said to be symmetric. Okay. And if the matrix is symmetric, then only we can use this Cholesky's method. In this Cholesky's method, we can write A as a product of lower triangular matrix into its transpose, or we can write it as a product of upper triangular matrix into its transpose. Any one method you can use out of this. Okay. There we take as a product of A as a product of L into U, where L is a special type of lower triangular matrix and U is any upper triangular matrix. Okay, for LU decomposition. But here we take it as a product of L into L transpose or U into U transpose. Okay, if we consider L into L transpose, then rest of the part will be exactly same as that of LU decomposition method. So what to do? As we know that A into X is B, so replace A by L into L transpose. So what we get? L into L transpose into X become B. Then L transpose into X. Then take L transpose into X as Z. Then we take U into X as Z. Here we take it as L transpose into X equal to Z. Then solve this equation, get the value of Z. If we replace L transpose into X by Z, it becomes L into Z equal to B. Okay. Then solving this equation, we get Z. Put that Z over here, we get X. Okay. So it is exactly same as that of LU decomposition method. Only thing is we have to remember here is we are taking only lower triangular matrix or only upper triangular matrix, product of L into L transpose or U into U transpose. If we take U into U transpose, then here we get U into U transpose into X equal to B. U transpose into X will be Z. U into Z will be B. Okay, and then simplifying, we can get first Z terms and then X term. Any one of this you can do. And this lower triangular is a general lower triangular matrix. For LU decomposition, we are having a special type of lower triangular where diagonal elements are 1. But here it is a general lower triangular. So there are general diagonal elements may be there for this lower triangular matrix. And upper triangular, this is also general upper triangular matrix. All the elements below diagonal elements are 0. Okay. And then simplifying that, first find the elements of L, or if you take this equation, then first find the elements of U by taking the product equating with the corresponding elements of A, then use this substitution, get Z terms, and using Z, get the value of X term. Okay, so same as LU decomposition, if you remember that, then this will be quite similar to that. So we'll take a problem, then understand how to make use of this to solve the problem. Solve the following system of equation by using Cholesky's method. 4x minus 2y equal to 0, minus 2x plus 4y minus z equal to 1, minus y plus 4z equal to 0. Again, method is similar. Firstly, write down this into matrix form. Okay, the matrix form of the system is, first write down the coefficient of each term, coefficient of x, coefficient of y, coefficient of z. If any term is absent, then its coefficient is 0. So coefficient of x is 4, coefficient of y minus 2, coefficient of z is absent, so it's here it is minus 2, 4, minus 1. And in the third equation, x term is absent, so its coefficient is 0. Coefficient of y minus 1 and coefficient of z is 4 into xyz equal to these constant terms 0, 1, 0. The terms on right hand side of the equation, and there are the terms on the right hand side are 0, 1, 0. Okay, so this matrix is of the form A into x equal to B. Now, looking at this equation, we can easily check whether it is symmetric or not. Just other than diagonal, okay, other than diagonal, just check the elements, the corresponding elements. This first row, second element, and second row, first element. These two elements are same. First row, third element, third row, first element. These two elements are same. And second row, third column, third row, second column. These elements are same. Okay, so if you see the reflection of these elements under this diagonal over here, then it is nothing but a symmetric matrix. And we can use Cholesky's method only for symmetric matrix. Okay, for non-symmetric, if we use, we get answer in complex number, we get quite difficult. It become quite lengthy, and solving the equation become difficult. So generally, means it is convenient for symmetric matrix only. Now, for Cholesky's method, we have to write A as L into L transpose or U into U transpose. Any one of the type of triangular matrix you can take. I'm taking lower triangular. You can try with upper triangular. At the end, it will give us the same values for x, y, and z. So the given A matrix, all this A can be written as L into L transpose. Now, what is a L matrix? Lower triangular. All elements above diagonal are 0. So it is L11, 0, 0, L21, L22, 0, L31, L32, L33. Okay. Instead of this notation, you can use any A, B, C, D, any notations here. But generally, the elements of matrix are denoted by small letters with suffix. And this suffix is nothing but its position. First row, first column. This denotes second row, second column. L31 means it belongs to third row, first column. Okay, so generally suffix denotes its position. So it is a good practice to write the elements of a matrix in such form, small letters with the suffix. And this suffix is its position. Now, this is a L matrix. For LU decomposition, we are having a special type of low triangular where these diagonal elements were 1. But for this Cholesky's, it is a general low triangular. It is not necessarily 1. Okay, so don't make mistake while taking L. L for LU decomposition, it is 1, 1, 1 on diagonal. And for Cholesky's method, it is general elements L11, L22, L33. Okay. Now next is L transpose. Now what is a transpose? Transfer this first row to first column. This second row becomes second column, and this third row is a third column when we take a transpose of a matrix. Okay, transferring rows, corresponding rows to corresponding column. That is nothing but transpose of a matrix. Okay. Now take multiplication of these two matrices. Okay, this first element, first row, first column element will be multiply this first row to this first column and equate it to this 4. Then minus 2 is the first row, second column element. To take the first row of first matrix, take the second column of second matrix, take the corresponding multiplication and equate with this. So like that, we get 9 equations. Depending on each position, take the corresponding row, take the corresponding column, and take the multiplication and equate with the corresponding element from this matrix. So that gives us different equation. L11 into L11, that will be L11 square plus 0 into 0 plus 0 into 0, that is nothing but 4. Then this is first row, second column element. So take first row of this, second column of this, multiply corresponding elements, that gives us next equation. This is first row, third column element, 0, first row, third column. So take the first row of this, take third column of this, take multiplication. Like that, take second row, first column, second row, first column, that multiplication will be -2. This 4, that will be second row, second column. So take second row of this, second column of this, get the equation. Like that, look at the position of that element and take the corresponding row and column. Take the corresponding multiplication, that gives us this 9 equations. Now these are simple equation. Just putting this value into previous next equation, we can easily find all these terms. So from this, L11 will be plus or minus 2, or take any one term. Generally, we take the positive term, say plus 2. Take L11 as 2. Put that L11 in this equation. So 2L21 become -2. So take 2 to other side. L21 become -1. Put L11 here. 2 into L32 equal to 0. 31 equal to 0. So L31 will be 0. Put this value into previous next equation, this value into next equation. Like that, do the substitution, that gives us these values. Okay, first find this, put it into next, put that values into next. Like that, we can find all unknown terms. And what are that terms? L11 will be 2, L21 will be -1, L31 is 0, L22 root 3, L32 -1 by root 3, L33 root 11 by 3. Okay. Now what to do? Put all these L back to this matrix L. Okay. Put the values, all these values back to this matrix L. So that low triangular matrix become 2, 0, 0, -1, root 3, 0, 0, -1 by root 3, square root of 11 by 3. Okay. Now we have assumed that L equal to L transpose. So put this value of A into AX equal to B. Putting this value into AX equal to B. So what happened? It become L into L transpose into X equal to B. Now take L transpose into X as Z. Taking L transpose into X as Z. And if you put this value over here, then we get L into Z equal to B. Now we know what is B. 0, 1, 0. That is all the elements which are on the left hand side of the right hand side of the equation. Z, you take it as say Z1, Z2, Z3. L we know this matrix. So we can easily find the values of Z. Put that Z into this, we can easily get X. Okay. So first put this L in this equation. So this L into Z, take Z as Z1, Z2, Z3 equal to B. That is 0, 1, 0. Now do the multiplication. First row into first column, second row into first column, third row into first column, and equate with 0, 1, and 0. We get 3 equations. And what are that 3 equations? 2 into Z1 plus 0 into Z2 plus 0 into Z3 equal to 0. -1 into Z1 root 3 into Z2 plus 0 into Z3 equal to the second element 1. And last equation will be 0 into Z1 -1 by root 3 into Z2 plus root 11 by 3 into Z3 equal to 0. Okay. Now you can easily get the values of Z1, Z2, Z3 from this. Z1 will be 0. Put that value here. Z2 will be 1 by root 3. put both these value here, and we can easily get Z3. So the values of Z1, Z2, Z3 are 0, 1 by root 3, 1 by root 33. Now put these Z1, Z2, Z3 into this equation. L transpose into X equal to Z. We know what is L. So L transpose will be transfer first row to first column, transfer second row to second column, and transfer third row to third column. That gives us L transpose. Okay, and multiply with x1, x2, x3, equate with Z. That is Z1, Z2, Z3. Okay, so that gives us the new equation. L transpose into X equal to Z. Take a transpose of L matrix. Take X as x1, x2, x3, and take Z as Z1, Z2, Z3. The values of Z which we got just now. Okay, and then again take the product of that two matrices, and by doing the back substitution, we can easily get x1, x2, and x3. So take the values from that matrix. Z already we got it from the previous equation, L into Z equal to B. Now we just have to make use of that Z. L also we know that we got by taking L into L transpose equal to A by using that matrix. Okay, only thing we have to do the substitution in this equation, and that using that equation we can get X terms. Okay, so doing the substitution, L transpose into X as X1, XYZ, and Z as these values, Z1, Z2, Z3. Now take the product of these two matrices, first row into first column, second row into first column, third row into first column, equate with these elements. So you get three equations. X minus y plus 0z equal to 0, 0x plus root 3y minus 1 by root 3z equal to 1 by root 3, 0 into x plus 0 into y plus root 11 by 3 into z equal to 1 by root 33. Okay, so from last equation we get z, put it into previous, that gives us y, put y and z into previous, that gives us x. So from last equation we get z equal to 1 by 11, put it into previous, that gives us y equal to 4 by 11, put this into previous equation, gives us x equal to 2 by 11. Okay, so this is also very easy, and it is exactly similar to LU decomposition. Only thing is we are not using LU, we are just using L into L transpose. And one more important point we have to remember for this is this method is applicable only for symmetric matrix. For non-symmetric matrix, this method is not convenient to use. Okay. Now you see the other method. First three methods were direct method, Gauss elimination, LU decomposition, and Cholesky method, that are direct methods. Okay, now we are going to see the indirect method or iterative method. In that, the first method is Jacobi iteration method. Now, what is this Jacobi iteration method? Okay, we'll find the approximate solution by using the successive approximation. Now, how to do that successive approximation? Okay, for example, suppose we are having this system of equation, n equation in n unknown. We saw three equation in three unknown. This is the general system, n equation in n unknowns. Okay, this is the system. Then we have to means how to use this iterative method. We have to choose the equation from this, in which the coefficient of x1 is the largest. Okay, out of this, choose the equation in which the coefficient of x1 is the largest. Suppose, if it is and take that as the equation 1 and take that element, largest element, as a11. Okay, so assuming that a11 is the largest coefficient of the first equation, divide by a11. Take all this term to other side and divide by a11. So get the value of x1 in terms of other variables. Same thing. From the remaining equation, take the equation in which coefficient of x2 is the largest. Suppose 82 is the largest among all other coefficients. Find the equation of x2 in terms of other variable. Like that, at the end, from the last equation, find the equation of xn in terms of other variable. Okay. Now this is very easy. Just carefully look at the method. Here we are not using any other equations. Only thing is we have to use the given equation. How to use given equation? Take the first equation, choose the first equation where the coefficient of x1 is the largest. Get the value of x1 in terms of all other variables. Take these terms on other side. Take a11 also on other side. Then take the second equation in which the coefficient of x2 is the largest. Take all the terms on other side, get x2 in terms of x1 to x1, x3 up to xn. Like that, find the nth equation xn in terms of remaining terms. Okay. Then after that, what we get? We get x1, x2, x3, like that. We get the equations for x1, x2, x3 up to xn in terms of other variables. Okay. So we get x1 equal to, taking all the terms on other side, dividing by a11. X2 will be taking the from second equation, taking all the terms on one side, dividing by a22, and xn will be from the last equation, taking all the terms on one side, dividing by ann. Okay, no formulas, separate formulas we require. We are just making use of the given equations in the problem. Okay, now what to do? Then suppose x1 0, x2 0, xn 0. These are called as an initial or zeroth approximation. Okay, and making use of this zeroth approximation, we can find the first approximation. Now, what is the formula for first approximation? The formula for first approximation is whatever terms are there outside, that as x1. Hello. Hello, am I audible?
सर आवाज तुमचा
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
प्रदीप, तुझं काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे नेटवर्कचा.
नाही सर, आज खूप वेळ झाला. आज नेटवर्क पण चांगलं आहे सर.
Is it whether all others are also facing same problem? Whether
Sir,
I'm not
your
audible?
voice is lagging and cracking a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It was lagging in. Yes.
Okay. I will talk slowly then. Okay. Now, whatever terms are there on left hand side, consider that as the first approximation, x11, x21, xn1. And whichever terms are there on right hand side, take this as the zeroth approximation. Give the notation for it, and the notation will be x20, x30, xn0, like that. Use 0 as a suffix for all these remaining terms. Okay, so what we have done, from the system of equations, firstly we get the equations for x1 to xn. How we get the equation? We get x1, take all the terms on other side, x2, taking remaining terms on other side, xn, remaining terms on other side. Okay, then what we have done, we take all the terms which are on the right hand side, assume that as a zeroth approximation. Constant terms, keep it as it is. Constant terms, just keep it as it is, and variables, give them as a suffix 0. and whichever terms are there on the left hand side, give them suffix as 1. Okay, then using this initial approximation, putting the values for this x1 to xn as at 0, we can get the first approximation. Like that, if we plus 0 by suppose k, then we can get the k plus 1th approximation. So how to get the next formula? If x1k, x2k, xnk are the kth approximation, then the next approximation is given by x1k plus 1, x2k plus 1. All that formulas we can get by using the previous equations only, and that equations are x1k plus 1 is equal to, wherever variables are there, for that take suffix as k. Here for left hand terms, take the suffix as k plus 1, and for right hand terms, for variables, take the suffix k. Okay, power is as a bracket k. Okay, so if we get kth approximation, we can easily get k plus 1. If you know k plus 1, we can get k plus 2. Okay, like that we can continue, and we have to continue until the kth values, kth approximation and k plus 1th approximation, the corresponding values are matching. Okay, if they are matching up to certain number of digits, then we'll say that the last approximation will be the answer. Okay, now how to begin with the approximation? Because for transcendental or algebraic equation, we start with the point from particular interval. Okay, we first check for which points the function is positive, for which point the function is negative. But here there are so many equations, so how to decide which initial point we have to take? So for that, we can start with the 0th approximation as all the terms equal to 0. Okay, we may assume that the initial approximation x10, x20, xn0 as 0. Okay, one can take different approximation, all this term equal to 1, or you can take any arbitrary term, but taking 0 is convenient, because if you put zeros over here, then calculation become very easy, because this into 0, this into 0, this into 0, all that becomes 0, and only constant upon this constant we can easily find the first approximation. Use first approximation on right hand side, we get left hand side approximation, this next approximation. Okay, so like that, continuing it up to the k and k plus 1 approximation become same up to certain number of digits. That gives us the answer. So this is very easy. No other formulas we use over here. Only thing is getting the values, equations of x1 to xn in terms of other variables from the given equations, and using this initial approximation. Initial approximation means all these variables taking it as 0. Okay, so we'll see how to make use of this method to solve the problem. And choosing the equation, take the first equation such that the coefficient of x1 is the largest among all other coefficients. Take the second equation such that coefficient of x2 is largest among rest of the equations. Like that, choose the element such that the diagonal elements will have the maximum magnitude among the other variables. Okay, and making use of that, we can get the answer quite easily. So we'll take the problem, then you understand how to use this method. Solve the following system of equations by using Jacobi's iteration method. X1 plus 17x2 minus 2x3 equal to 48. 2x1 plus 2x2 plus 18x3 equal to 30. 30x1 minus 2x2 plus 3x3 equal to 48. Okay. Now, just carefully look at the equation. Check which equation is having the largest coefficient for x1. Here this is having coefficient of x1 in first equation is 1. Here it is 2. Here it is 30. So take this equation as equation 1. Then from rest of the equation, check whose coefficient of x2 is large. Here it is 17, here it is 2. So take this equation as equation number 2 and the remaining equation as equation 3. So just rearrange the equations so that the first equation will have maximum coefficient among all x1. Second equation will have the maximum coefficient for x2 variable, and the third equation will have the coefficient for x3 maximum among all other variables. So this arrangement is very important. If it doesn't do this arrangement, the number of iteration will be more. Okay, we'll get answer. Finding the solution will be lengthy. But if we choose these equations such that highest coefficient of x1, that will be the first equation, then x2 highest coefficient, second equation, coefficient for x3 is highest, take that as a third equation. If we choose this way, then we can get answer in less number of iterations. Now, from first equation, get the equation of x1 in terms of other variables. Take all these terms to other side, get the value of x1. From first equation, x1 will be 48 plus 2x2 minus 3x3 divided by 30. From second equation, get value for x2. x2 will be 48 minus x1 plus 2x3 divided by 17. And x3 will be from third equation 30 minus 2x1 minus 2x2 divided by 18. Okay, so very easy. No separate formulas we use over here. We just make use of the given equations. Just make use of them properly. Get x1 from first, x2 from second, x3 from third equation. Now, suffix for it, 0th iteration. For take x raised to 0 means x to the suffix 0. And here we consider these as the first iteration. x1, 1, x2 at 1, x3, 1, first iteration. And we assume that initial iteration, 0th iteration, all x terms to be 0. x1 0, x2 at x2 0, x3 0. We assume it as a 0 as an initial approximation. Okay, so we put 0 0 here. That gives us x1 1. Put these two 0, we get first iteration for x2. And if you put these two zeros, we get first iteration for x3. Okay, so just put x1, x2, 0 in right hand side of this equation. That will give us the first iteration. So what is the first iteration? It's putting the values for x1, x2, x3 as 0 in right hand side of all three equations. That gives us this first iteration. So x1 1 will be 1 by 30, 48 plus 2 into 0 minus 3 into 0. That will be 1.6. Second, x2 will be, first iteration of x2 will be 1 by 17 into 48 minus 0 plus 2 into 0. That will be 2.8235. And x3, first iteration for x3 is 1.6667. Now, what to do? Put these values of x1, x2, x3. Put these values of x1, x2, x3 into right hand side of the equation, whichever equation we got just now for x1, x2, x3. In that, put these three new values and get the new value, get the values for x1, x2, x3. That will be the second approximation or second iteration. So what will be the second iteration? Instead of 1, now take it 2, and we are putting x2 as this value, x3 as this value, x1 as this value. So previously we put 0, 0, 0. Now we put these values for x1, x2, x3. into right hand side of that equations. That will be the second iteration. Do the calculation, we get these new values. Now, whether these are matching up to certain digits, this is 1.6, this is 1.6216, 2.82, 2.92. So they are not matching. They are near, but they are not matching. So we have to do the third approximation. How to do third approximation? Put these values again into right hand side of the equation and get the third approximation. So what we'll do, I will prepare one table in which I will write all the iterations, and then we'll check which two successive iteration gives us the corresponding terms. So this was the first iteration when we put x1, x2, x3 as 0. These are the first values. Then put these values to get the values of second iteration. Put these values again into right hand side, get the new values of x1, x2, x3. That will be the third iteration. Put these values again into right hand side, get the new values. That will be fourth iteration. Like that, continue it until the corresponding values get matched. Okay, these two are matching up to 2 digits, 3 digit, up to 2 digits. So we'll do one more iteration: 674, 674, 861, 861, 162, 162. So they are matching up to 3 decimal places. So this last iteration will be the answer. Okay, so very easy. First, rearrange the equation properly so that the diagonal elements will be the largest among other coefficients. Then get the values of x1, x2, x3 in terms of other variable. Then initially put x1, x2, x3 as 0 into right hand side, get the first iteration. Then use that new x1, x2, x3 to get the next iteration. Again use next x1, x2, x3, get the next iteration. Continue until two set of values get match up to certain number of digits. That gives us the solution. Okay, so it is very easy, very important. No separate formulas, just properly remember the method. Consider the next problem. Minus 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 10x3 equal to 22. 10x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 equal to 9. 2x1 plus 20x2 minus 2x3 equal to minus 44. Again check whether the coefficient of x1 in the first equation is largest or not. It is minus 2 here. In second equation it is 10. In third equation it is 2. So among these the largest is 10. So take this as the first equation. Among remaining two, this is having coefficient 20 for x2 and this is 3. So take this as the second equation and take this as the remaining equation as the third equation. So don't forget to rearrange the terms so that coefficient of x1 will be largest in first, coefficient of x2 is largest in the second equation, coefficient of x3 is largest in third equation. Now what to do? Get x1 in terms of other terms, get x2 in terms of other variable, get x3 in terms of remaining terms. Take all the terms on right hand side. Correct? Simple way. Okay, these positive terms become negative and dividing by 10. Same thing we do it with the other two equations. Okay. Now, initially put all x1, x2, x3 on right hand side as 0. Okay, that we call as a zeroth approximation or initial approximation. So take x1, x2, x3 as 0. Okay, put it into right hand side of these equation. So that gives us the first iteration, and then using this first iteration, put it into again right hand side to get the second iteration. So like that we have to continue. You can take any value as a first iteration, but 0, 0, 0 is quite convenient because you can see, you can easily do the calculation if you have zeros. Okay, you can easily get the terms. So zeroth approximation is considering as 0 is convenient. Now use these new values, put it into right hand side, get the next approximation that we call as a second approximation, putting x1 as 0.9, x2 as minus 2.2, and x3 as 2.2 into left hand side. That we call as a second approximation. Check whether these two are matching. They are not matching, so we have to do next approximation. Like that, we have to continue until two continuous approximation values get matched. So I'm putting all that term into table and then checking which two approximations are approximately equal. That will be the answer for the system of equation. Okay, so here first iteration by putting x1, x2, x3, 0 is 0.9 minus 2.2, 2.2. Putting this value, we get the next iteration as this. Putting these values into right hand side, we get the next values. Like that, continuing, you can see the 6th and 7th, they are approximately matching. 2.9996 approximately, it is nothing but 3. Okay, so we can assume, means we can take this as an equal term. So the 7th approximation gives us the answer x1 equal to 1, x2 equal to minus 2, x3 equal to 3. Okay. Now, similar to this, we are having the last method, Gauss-Seidel iteration method. It is also called as a modification of this previous method. Okay, Jacobi's method. Now, what is the modification we are doing in this method? The first part is same. First part will be same, making the getting the values of x1 to xn in terms of other variable. This part will be same. 0th iteration, that part will also be same. Taking all x1, x2, xn equal to 0. Initial approximation 0, that is also same. Okay, what to do? Just put these value into first equation. By using first equation, we get the first approximation for x1. Now, for finding x2, take this new value of x1 and previous values and remaining values as it is. Okay, take this new value of x1 and remaining terms as it is, that is 0. The second substitution will be this new term x2, x3, xn will be same as the previous one. By that, we get the value of x2, first iteration for x2. Now, for finding the value for x3, for finding the third equation, substitute this new x1, substitute this new x2, and the remaining terms as it is. We get a new value for x3. Then if there is x4, then use this new x1, new x2, new x3, and the remaining terms. Like that, for the last equation, use all new values. Okay, what we do for Jacobi, we put all this equal to 0 in all equations directly. Okay, by that we get the first iteration. But here we doesn't have to do like that. We just have to put all equal to 0 in the first iteration, first equation. Then in second equation, use this new value and the remaining terms. For third equation, use these two new values and remaining terms as 0. Then for last equation, use all these new values. So every time, whichever new value we get, that we have to do for the further iteration. Okay, what we do for Jacobi, we find all set at a time first. We put all equal to 0, we get the first set, first iteration. Then we use all first iteration to get the values of x1, x2, x3, that is the second iteration. But here we are not doing it, means same thing. Only for first, we put all equal to 0. Then in second equation, take new value of x1 and the remaining terms. Second equation, new values of x1, x2 and remaining terms 0. Like that we have to continue. So This is also called as a modified Jacobi's method, because every time we use the modified value, new value. Okay, we are not taking full set at a time. We always modify our answer. There in Jacobi, we always use total set for the new iteration. But here we are not using total set for new iteration. We use always the modified value in that set to get a new iteration. Okay, so it is also very easy. No separate formulas to remember. Firstly, get the equations. In first equation only put all 0. Then in second equation, use new values, whichever we got. Then in third equation, again use the new values and do the iteration. And do the same thing, what we done for Jacobi, until all the values of x1, x2, x3, or whatever variables are matching. Up to that, we have to do the calculation. Okay, so if we want to formulate it, then what will be the kth iteration? Okay, the kth iteration, the formula will be, for first equation, no problem. We use this kth term. This is actually k plus 1 iteration. We use all kth term as it is. But for finding the second equation, finding x2, we use this new value and rest of the terms from this. Then for using k plus term, we are using all these new values, k plus 1th value. Okay, so in the next equation, we use new values. For Jacobi, for next iteration, for next approximation, we use all set. But here we are not using all set of values. We use modified values. Okay, so this is also exactly similar to that Jacobi. So we'll take a problem, then you understand how to make use of it. 28x1 plus 4x2 minus x3 equal to 32. x1 plus 3x2 plus 10x3 equal to 24. 2x1 plus 17x2 plus 4x3 equal to 30. Okay, check coefficient of x1 in which equation is maximum. In first equation it is maximum, so take this as first equation. Check coefficient of x2 in the other equation. Third equation has a maximum coefficient for x2, so take this as second equation, and rest of the equation as a third equation. So just rearranging it. Okay. These are the largest element. Diagonal elements are the largest element. Same thing, get the equation of x1 from first, equation for x2 from second, equation for x3 from third equation. Okay. Initial approximation 0, 0, 0, that is also same. Don't put this initial approximation in all equation. We put this in all equation for Jacobi, but for Gauss-Seidel, only in first equation we have to put these values, only in first equation. So we get the first iteration from first equation. For next iteration, take new x1 and this x2, x3 as 0. For finding x3, use new x1 and new x2. Okay, so we'll do the substitution. In first equation only, put zeros. So in first iteration will be putting x2, x3 as 0. So we get this. Now, for finding x2, use this new x1. For Jacobi, we take 0 here also, but here we have to use new value of x1. 35 minus 2x1 minus 4x3. So this new x1 you have to use. x3 we are not yet got, so take 0 only. Now for finding x3, use new x2, new x1. Always modify it. New x1 is this, new x2 is this. So we get x3. Okay. Now again for finding the second iteration, for first equation, use all these values as it is. Take x2 as 1.922244, x3 as 1.7084. For finding x2, second iteration, take new x1 and this x2, x3. Okay, whichever is new, take that. If new is not available, then use the previous values. Okay, so here x1 value we take this, and x2 and x3 as this for finding x2. For finding x3, we know what is the new value for x1. We know what is the value for x2. So make use of these two new values. That gives us x3. Okay, so check whether they are equal up to certain digits. No. So do the next iteration. And again, I'm making a table and check which two iteration are approximately equal. That will be the solution. So firstly, we put x1, x2, x3 0 to get this. For finding x2, we use this and x2, x3 as 0. For finding x3, we use these two new values. For finding x1, second iteration, use these two values. For finding x2, make use of new x1 and old x3. For finding x3, use new x1, x2 values. Like that, continue. And you can see that these two are matching up to 3 decimal places. So this last will be the answer. X1 is 0.9936, X2 is 1.5070, X3 is 1.85, 8485. This is 8485. Sorry. Okay. We'll consider the last problem and then we'll stop. 5x1 minus x2 plus x3 equal to 10. 2x1 plus 4x2 equal to 12. x1 plus x2 plus 5x3 equal to minus 1. Coefficient of x1, 5 maximum, that is the first equation already there. In remaining two, coefficient of x2 is 4 and here it is 1. So this is second, that is already there, and take this as the third. So no need to rearrange, just take them as in the same order. Okay, largest coefficient are along the diagonal. So we take them in the same order. Okay, this is 5, 4 and 5. Get the equations for x1, x2, x3. Use initial approximation x1, x2, x3 as 0 only for the first equation. For Gauss-Seidel, put this value as 0 only for first equation. For second equation, use new x1. For third equation, use new x1, x2. Okay, like that, we have to do the simplification. So firstly, putting x1, x2, x3 0 for first equation, we get this. For x2, using new x1, we get this. For x3, using this new x1, x2. Okay, we get this. Second iteration, use these values of x1, x2, x3 into right hand side of x1, we get this. For x2, use new x1 and old x2, x3, we get this. For finding x3, use new x1, x2. Okay, we get this. And then similarly, to do the calculation, I put it into table form. That gives us after 5 iteration, these two are 3 up to 3 digits, they are equal. So the solution is x1 equal to 2.5555, x2 is 1.7223, x3 is minus 1.0556. Okay, so these are the main two iterative method, that is Jacobi and Gauss-Seidel method, by which we can solve system of equations.